Hello. Hello, hello. How is everybody on Saturday? Sun is shining, at least it is here anyway, down in the West Country. A little bit feeble, but there you go, better than nothing. Apologies for being a few minutes late. I was just about to press go when the dogs were barking and I went out to shut them up, and of course it was a delivery. So there you go. What timing, but at least it wasn't in 5 minutes time, because that would have been more of an issue. Hello Facebook. Hi, how is everybody? Hope you are well and enjoying a bit of sunshine wherever you are. We do have some sun down here in the West Country, so really enjoying that. I've got the windows open actually in my kitchen because it was really hot. I was baking. I'm going to be doing my chocolate and almond cake this morning, the flourless one, and it was just getting a bit hot in here. So I opened the windows and I thought, I'm going to keep the windows open because you might just get a little bit of bird song. Of course, they've stopped now, but anyway, they are out there. They're tweeting away. Hi, hello Mary, hi Sarah, hi Nikki, hi Marie, hi Linda. Gosh, it's lovely to be here. So back in my kitchen, and as I mentioned yesterday on my Instagram TV and Facebook Live, I'm going to be making the flourless chocolate and almond cake, and I absolutely love this recipe. I love it for so many reasons. Those of you who subscribe to my newsletter will have the recipe in your inbox. Those of you who don't subscribe, why are you not subscribed? Because you get free stuff. So you'll find it on the Liz Earle Wellbeing homepage on the website. So don't worry, if you haven't got it, you don't need to jot it down. What I like about it is it's flourless, so I can make it for my gluten-free friends, or for the moment it's good for lockdown if you can't get flour. It's also low in sugar and it's got lots of ground almonds in it. And almonds, as we know, are a good source of protein and they're also a good source of vitamin E. So it kind of makes me feel better. But the other reason I like it is that I bake it into slices. So I can actually make the slices quite small. So it's a sweet treat. It's not like having a big, huge slice of cake. So it kind of lasts longer and it's better for us. We can have a really nice, fulfilling sweet treat without actually kind of overdoing it and spiking our insulin too much. So today, just so that you know, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm also going to be talking about chocolate in general. I've got a really amazing chocolate tasting event that you might like to join. So I'll tell you about that as well, because I've also got a discount code for that. And I know lots of comments already about my dress. So this is another little brand that I want to give a shout out to. It's called Aspiga, A-S-P-I-G-A, aspiga.com. You may have seen me wearing some of their things before. It's a lovely lady called Lucy who founded it, and I've known her for a long time, and I knew her from her startup in Kenya because she employs women who are the victims of sexual trafficking and violence, domestic violence, to do beadwork. And her sandals are amazing, really beautiful. And since then, since the early days, her business has grown and grown. And obviously it's under pressure now with COVID-19, like so many small businesses. And I went onto her website the other day and I called her, I said, Lucy, I love your dresses. I didn't realise that you were doing all these pretty things. So after this, go and have a look because we've got a special code. If you use Liz Loves, that's all in capitals, Liz Loves, you get 10% off everything on her website, including this pretty dress. And I will put a link to this on Instagram and also on Facebook because I just love it. And it's rayon. And I think what's interesting about rayon is it's a biodegradable fabric. It comes from wood pulp. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that quick heads up because I know lots of people are chatting saying, where's your dress from? Also the jewellery, don't forget, I've got the Liz Loves 20, which is the 20% off Liz Earle jewellery. So just get that out of the way. But now let's crack on with the recipe. And I've got it on my iPad here because it is actually on the Liz Earle Wellbeing homepage. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to melt some butter. Apologies for not having a snazzy overhead camera that can do camera angles. Maybe when we're out of lockdown, we can look at doing a kind of a proper show. But for now, it's make do and mend, folks, isn't it? So I'm going to weigh out here 120 grams. The recipe actually calls for unsalted butter, but I don't think you need to be precise. You can use salted butter. It's completely fine. So let me just get that measured. So I'm using Yo Valley, which is an organic butter. I like Yo Valley, they're a nice brand. They're not actually that far from me down in the West Country. And they have cows grazing out on grass, which I know is something that you've heard me talk about a lot. I've actually made little documentaries actually about that. I'm going to shove that on just to melt. So while that is melting, you then need to mix up your sugar and your eggs. This uses a couple of eggs. I am very fortunate here on my farm because we have chickens, and chickens, guess what? They lay eggs. So I have two, they're almost warm actually, these brown eggs. These come from the variety of chickens that we have here called Marin chickens, and they're French. So I always speak to my girls in a French accent, say bonjour, good morning, my little chickens. I hope you are doing very well. And we love chickens, especially in the summer, because they lay more eggs. We don't artificially barn them. They're actually just pastured, free range, on grass and digging up grubs and stuff. And that means, unfortunately, in the wintertime, they go off lay, because when you have battery chickens that are kept intensively in sheds, they have artificial light. So they think it's daylight all the time. So they have to keep producing eggs all the time. Whereas our girls get a nice rest in the winter when it's darker. Oops, mustn't let that burn. Right, so I've got 2 eggs, and then I'm going to add some sugar. Now, I do tell you that I don't use very much sugar, and I don't genuinely, but I do keep it in the house for things like this, you know, making birthday cakes and celebration stuff. But I tend to use less than the recipe says. Even, I hope Emma's not watching, my lovely food editor, because even her recipes, which were low sugar to start with, because we always try and reduce the sugars in this our Wellbeing recipes, but even then I add a bit less, and it actually still works really well. I will show you, because I'll show you the result when it comes out. So the recipe calls for 240 grams of caster sugar. I'm actually just going to use a kind of a scant 200, to be honest. So I'm just going to tip that into there. I wonder if any of you are cooking along with the recipe, or if you're just going to watch me do it first. Okay, so that's actually about 180. I reckon that would be fine. Just to say, if you're buying things like sugar and coffee and chocolate and all of that we're going to be talking about, if you can, always look for this little logo, Fair Trade logo. It just means that a fair wage has been paid to the farmers and growers back in usually a developing country. It does make a difference. I'm an ambassador for Fair Trade, and I go to a lot of their meetings. I often, as you know, go to Africa, and I've visited lots of farms and seen growers firsthand really benefit, communities really benefiting from it. So it's often no price difference, maybe just a few pence, but the difference it makes to the actual grower is significant. So I just throw that one into the mix, as it were. I'm just going to pop that to one side because it's melting away. Right, so into this you're going to need some vanilla extract or vanilla essence. In the recipe online it actually talks about vanilla paste. So a vanilla pod, if you've seen one in real life, they're a long, it's a relative of the orchid family. It's like a dried orchid pod, and you split it open, and top chefs, when they're making pastries and desserts and things, will scrape out those beans, little teeny seeds, and they'll use that. But it's incredibly expensive. And I think for a recipe like this, which is quite basic, and frankly, my kids are going to be scoffing them all, so I'm not going to be wasting real vanilla beans on them. Shh, don't tell them. Actually, they won't be seeing this because I chucked them off their Wi-Fi, so they'll just be doing, hopefully, something involving paper and crayons instead. So you don't have to use expensive vanilla paste or vanilla beans or vanilla pods. Obviously, if you've got it, then great, you can. So I'm just going to use a vanilla extract. This is a really nice organic vanilla extract that you can get online. And I'm just going to use a capful of that. If you haven't got it, don't worry. You know, it's a nice to have. It's not an essential. I think in all the baking and making that we're doing at the moment, we're just sort of making the best with what we have. And then I'm going to mix this. So I've got my food mixer. So what you want to do, I'll do it without the electricity to start with because it's going to make a bit of a noise. But yeah, it's just, I think, just trying to adapt, isn't it, and do what we can. Now I need to whisk this into quite a thick paste, which is going to take a couple of minutes. So apologies for the noise. I'm going to come a little bit closer to you and read some of the messages while I do this. I'm going to move my bowl over here and come closer. So sorry about the noise. Okay, so Liz Bridgman, I've made this and it's divine, she says. At the moment, we have scones with clotted cream and jam in the house, made by my son, who's a chef. Wow, that's really good. Well done you. Jane Rayner Photography, love the dress. Isn't it pretty? I'll show you a bit more of it later if you missed it, and give you that discount code again. How do you maintain good skin health? Oh my goodness, I'm going to be doing quite a lot about skin next week. But it is about good gut health, it's about your fitness, getting your blood circulation going, it's drinking kefir, it's keeping your sugar down, keeping your fats and your protein high. I'm going to stop that now because it's just boring to have to listen to it. Sorry. So anyway, I'll just show you that, just so that you know that that has turned into, if I get a spoon, this sort of fairly thick, quite pale, creamy, like sugary custard. Okay, so now I'm going to use cocoa and, where's my bowl? Here we go, I have a spare bowl. Cocoa and, what else am I using? Ground almonds, that's what I'm using. So, a little bit about cocoa. So I'm going to use unsweetened, plain cocoa. So I would use something, this is like Green and Black's, organic, has no sugar, amazing. Or I'm actually going to use this one because this packet is open and I need to use it. This is a Naturia one. And again, I'm looking for fair trade. Yeah, you see you've got the fair trade logo on there and also on that one as well. That's what it looks like. So things like chocolate are actually really easy to get. Chocolate, sugar, coffee, those are kind of the standard ones for fair trade. So let me just double check the recipe to make sure I am doing this right. So yes, 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So that's quite easy. And the lovely thing about using dark cocoa is that you have no refined sugars in here and you have lots of minerals as well. You know, it's a really healthy ingredient. You might think, oh, chocolate, that's not good for you. But actually the real stuff is very nutritious and it's also very high. It's the richest plant source of polyphenols. Isn't that amazing? Which is a really good ingredient for the gut, for the microbiome. Our microbes love it. So it's gut friendly, so you could say these are kind of a gut friendly treat. So I've got my 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder and then I think it's, what is it here? Is it 100 grams of, 100 grams of ground almonds. So I'm going to pop that back on my scales. Now if you're buying almonds and, ground almonds and all of that, they are quite pricey. So what I tend to do, and I've put a link to this actually in the recipe online. So if you go to lizearlewellbeing.com after this, look at the recipe for this and you'll see there's a little link, little hyperlink where it says almonds. And that will take you to the supplier of these guys. So this is a kilo of Spanish almonds. I like Spanish almonds. They are not as common. Most of the almonds that we use in the world come from California. And there are definitely environmental issues surrounding California almonds in terms of water usage and the death and devastation actually to bees. So I prefer to use Spanish almonds and look for those where I can. There's also obviously fewer air miles because they're coming from Europe and I just have visions of Spanish sunny Spanish vistas whenever I open this. So the reason I mention this, I'm using ground almonds, but you can grind your own. Okay, you can easily, if you've got a really good mixer or nut grinder, or even you can get those little coffee grinders which you can use for nuts, and that works out much cheaper. Plus you're grinding the skin, so it's more nutritious, you're getting more fibre, and you can chop them up, you can make your own flaked almonds. So this is a much less expensive way of buying almonds, and I just love to have a big bag because I use it for all my nut recipes. And I know if you've been following any of the stuff I've been doing recently, I've been doing quite a lot on nuts. I was soaking and activating my nuts, which always makes me smile when I have to remind everybody about that, but soaking your nuts is a really good thing to do. So having a big bag in your cupboard is useful. So, but for now, just because it's easy, I'm going to use a bag of ground almonds. So 100 grams is going into my powder, my cocoa powder. So that is about, it's about 4 heaped tablespoonfuls, 100 grams, there we go. So I'm going to put those together, and then I quite like orange, chocolate and orange. I think works really well together as a combination. You don't have to add it if you haven't got it, or if you don't fancy the orange, that's fine. Actually, I didn't have any oranges, so what I have got instead is I've got a satsuma. So I'm just going to do a bit of grated satsuma. Again, if you're grating oranges or lemons or any citrus fruits, it really is worth getting the unwaxed variety, because otherwise you're just going to be grating potentially anti-fungicide wax into your food, which is perhaps not the best thing. So they are a little bit more expensive to get unwaxed. You don't have to use them obviously for everyday things, but if you're using the zest in particular and grating it into your food, I would always go for unwaxed or organic, because obviously they have higher standards when it comes to restricted on pesticides and all of that. So I've got a grated satsuma, which actually will be a gentler flavour anyway. And then I'm going to mix that, just very gently mix that together. So I've got in here my ground almonds and my chocolate. Any of you guys joining late, I am making the flourless chocolate and almond cake, which is actually going to be more like a slice or a brownie. And you have got the recipe in your inbox if you subscribe to the Liz Earle Wellbeing newsletter. And if you don't, of course you should, because there'll be more coming up next week. It's a newsletter that we send out every Friday afternoon. It comes out Friday tea time at 4 o'clock or thereabouts. And it has all the links to a lot of the things that I've been talking about during the week, plus preview information. So for example, this recipe didn't actually get highlighted on the website until today. And any kind of offer news, we will always launch it in the newsletter first, because a lot of these things sell out really quickly. So we like our newsletter subscribers to kind of get it first before everybody else. So into that, I am going to mix my melted butter. So I'm just going to pour that in and make that into kind of like a chocolate goo. I think that's a technical word for it. Yeah, look at that. Can you see? Oh. And this is a really tasty mixture, and of course no sugar. There's no sugar in this bit. Okay, this is really just thick chocolate paste with my dark cocoa, my butter and my almonds. And there you go, there you have it. So basically I'm just checking I haven't missed out any ingredients, no. So I've got my 2 bowls here. This is the one that has the sugar and the eggs mixed in with a little bit of vanilla. And then into that, I'm just going to mix my chocolate mixture. So I'm going to mix the 2. And that really is it. It is that easy. And then you're going to need a cake tin, or I actually like using like a tray bake tin. I've got one. The recipe actually calls for one that measures 20 by 20 centimetres. The one that I have here is a little bit bigger than that. It's about 20 by 30, I would say. Normally if I'm, recipe testing or making, I'll be in my studios in London, but here I am at home in my kitchen, sharing it all with you guys, which is so nice. So basically you just mix all that together and you end up with a really lovely, creamy, chocolatey, almost like a batter, really. It's something that the kids can do because it's really easy. It's it's not a complicated recipe. And then what you do is you take your baking tin and you grease it, a little bit of butter maybe, or a little bit of olive oil, whatever you fancy. And then you shove it in there and you put it in the oven, sprinkle it with a few flaked almonds. So I've got my flaked almonds here, a few flaked almonds sprinkled on the top. And you bake it, keep an eye on it. Now I used quite a little bit of a bigger tin, which meant that the mixture was more shallow. So I have it here, it just came out. My kids love it when I do this because, of course, not only am I actually baking and making, but I have to make 2 of everything because I have to make 1 earlier just to kind of make sure that I've got all the ingredients, and then to actually have one to show you, because this has taken about 20 minutes or so. So there you go, and I actually cut a little end off just to show you. It's kind of gooey, crumbly. This is actually killing me to do this because, whoops, let me show it to you guys on Facebook. Sorry, it's still slightly warm, so it's slightly falling apart. It is, the smell, can you see that, guys? Oh, the smell is amazing. I so want to eat this. I'm telling you, I'm being very, very restrained. As you know, I haven't had breakfast. So this is making this even more delicious. But what I really like, in all seriousness, what I like about doing a cake bake like this is that you can cut it into smaller squares. Can you imagine putting this in a cake tin and then you take a massive, great triangular slice? I mean, that's probably going to be 3 or 4 times the size of that. And all we really need is this. Let's think about it. Nice cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever, and a little bite. And that's what it's all about. It's being really balanced and careful with our treats, making sure that, that we have good quality ingredients, that we cook from scratch, there's no rubbish, there's no fillers, there's no palm oil, and we're being sustainable and mindful in the ingredients that we get, thinking, how can what we be doing here be putting back and supporting others around the globe who are doing all this for us, you know, producing all of this. I think one of the things that this whole kind of lockdown has made me focus on and be more aware of is the support that we need to give our farmers and growers, because that's where our food security is. You know, it's what we can grow and how we can support our local community. I'm really lucky down here in the West Country. We've got amazing cheese makers. I'm actually going to be putting a little film clip of a cheese shop that's still open and I went to this week, and I'm going to share that on my Instagram a little bit later on. So, you know, it's really important. These guys are going to go bust if we don't support them. So it's kind of use them or lose them. And anyway, I'm not going to turn this into a soapbox. This is a nice, gentle Saturday afternoon chat, but I hope that is helpful. I am going to just hop back onto my iPad here because there are some questions coming in. Can you use coconut oil instead of butter? Yes, you can. It'll give a very coconutty flavour. I mean, if you like coconut, great. I mean, I went through a phase of using a lot of coconut oil in recipes, but actually I've kind of moved away from it. Because I find it so overpowering. But absolutely, if you didn't want to use butter, then you could. Friends, this is from Victoria. She's saying, love chocolate and orange, but friends have told me orange is not good if you have migraine. I personally haven't found that to be true. I think with food intolerances, they're obviously highly personal, aren't they? And I know one of the things when I was with Dr. Katie Munro from the National Migraine Centre and we were talking about any potential triggers, is it's really worth keeping a food diary. So if you are somebody who's susceptible to migraine, then, you know, try excluding citrus for a few weeks, monitor your symptoms, see how you feel, see if you get an attack, and then introduce it, you know, one at a time. Start with maybe lemons, and then if nothing happens, a few weeks later you could reintroduce oranges and then grapefruit, etc. So somebody else talking about here, Jamie Oliver supporting cheesemakers. Yeah, absolutely. There are lots. We need to be buying direct. I'm going to be posting on my Instagram about that later with some links to some local suppliers that sell direct. So this is a really good thing. I think one of the benefits is that we can just support those who are making a difference, you know, who are doing something good. Another question, where is your dress from? Okay, so talking about making a difference. So this is Aspiga. I know Amy. Hi, Amy, on Facebook. She will put a link on there. And for my friends on Instagram, if you go to my bio, where it says link in bio, there's that little blue line that says Linktree. If you click on that, there'll be a link to Aspiga and to this dress in particular. It's made of rayon, which is sustainable wood pulp, and there's a 10% off everything on Aspiga. You just use Liz Loves as the code, all in capitals, Liz Loves. And I don't know how much you can see, actually. I'm going to be a bit careful because it's split at the thigh. So, but I love wrap dresses. I just find them really easy, and I like the kind of softness on the sleeve that just sort of frames everything nicely. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, 10% off aspiga.com. And my friend Lucy, who is brilliant, she helps women who've been the victims of domestic violence and sexual trafficking, particularly in Kenya, where a lot of her things are made. So lovely to give her a shout out. Now, I talked about a chocolate tasting, and this is something that I really want to share with you. So this is a brand that I think I mentioned a little while ago, excuse me for stretching out of vision, called Fire Tree. And they are that lovely packaging. Look at that. I mean, look at this for colour coordination. I mean, don't say that this is not carefully planned. But, you know, obviously a lot of great design work went into creating my outfits and content for today. So Fire Tree are a brand that I discovered fairly recently because I was looking at low sugar chocolate that's produced in a really sustainable and fair way, that has high provenance, lots of traceability, and it's kind of artisan chocolate. You may have been hearing a lot about this technique or this term called bean to bar. And it's where individual chocolatiers are buying the beans direct from various small cooperatives and estates in the countries where they grow cocoa, and then making artisan, amazing chocolate, just in the same way that you might have a wine, a fine wine that comes from a different vineyard with a different type of label, and you might go to a wine tasting. So these guys at Fire Tree are doing chocolate tastings, and the great thing is they are doing virtual chocolate tastings. So I'm going to give you a code in a minute, and you can go online onto their website and you buy a box. They send you these 4 chocolates, which I'll talk about. And they've actually got beautiful packaging. actually. It comes a bit like this. Look, that's one of their tasting boxes. Isn't that beautiful? And they give you the tasting notes. So this is what you get for your tasting. So you get all these little notes here. And there'll be, you get a login, an online login just before the masterclass starts, so you can join. And they take you through step by step exactly what you're tasting, how to taste it. They've given me a little crib sheet here, so I'm going to try. This is the first time I've done this. So my children were so envious when they saw me open this box, and I said, you know, it's going to be a real tough one today, guys, because I'm going to have to eat a lot of chocolate. And they were not sympathetic. Anyway, the ones that I've got, which are going to be part of this tasting, which I think is really good, because you know how I'm always banging on about going for low sugar. So this is the first one. This is from the Solomon Islands, single estate, so it's from one place, the beans aren't blended. And this is 69% cocoa. So this says it's grown on a family farm, protected. The beans are protected from the sun by the shade of coconut trees. Doesn't that sound great? And I know that the packaging is all sustainable as well. So what does it say about tasting? So this is what it looks like. There you go. It says, at Fire Tree, we make great chocolate. To appreciate our chocolate in the same way as you would a fine wine, it takes time. Here's how to experience it. So if you've got chocolate at home, this is what you might like to do. Snap off a square and breathe in the bouquet. Snap. Can you sense the different aromas? Oh yeah, definitely. It smells quite sort of fruity. Interesting, yeah, red fruit. There we go. Taste notes, red fruit, citrus and plum. Yeah, actually, now you mentioned the plum, I can really taste it. Then you place the chocolate on your tongue. Don't chew. Let it melt slowly to release its flavours. Well, maybe I'll just do a tiny bit of that, otherwise I'm not going to be able to talk. So you have to let it melt. Well, it's quite hard to let it melt on your tongue. Let it melt, slowly release its flavours. Savour the smooth texture and flavours. Some grow in intensity. Oh yeah, that plumminess is coming out. Others emerge. And then relish the finish. Fire Tree has what fine wine tasters called a long finish. If you've ever listened to any of the guys on TV or been to a wine tasting, they talk about the long finish where you have a sip of wine and even after you've swallowed it, you can still taste, and that's what a fine wine gives you, that long finish. And that's what fine chocolate gives you too. The flavours persist for some time after you've swallowed the chocolate, giving you a feeling of deep satisfaction. Less is more. Isn't that brilliant? So, I am not going to stand here and scoff my way through all this delicious chocolate, just to say that this one is in the tasting. So that's 69% cocoa. Then we move up to, again, this is from Marika Island, which is in the Solomon Islands. Apparently you get a geography lesson at the same time. 75% cocoa, so that's going to be a little bit darker. And this says, Marika has 2 guest houses and a grass landing strip, a small hospital, and Lucy's all-female cocoa farm. Wow. I mean, I kind of feel that I'm connecting with these women all that long way away, making this stuff. That smells so different. That is an extraordinary. Now this says it smells of raisins and caramel with soft grapefruit. So that one, I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to bang on about it. That's 75% cocoa. This one is from Madagascar, so we've switched. This is 84% cocoa. And then this one, I'm really excited about trying this one. This one is again from the Solomon Islands, from Guadalcanal. Apologies for pronouncing that not right. It's 100% cocoa, 100%, so there's no sugar. So if I look here, you know how I'm always telling you to read the labels and look at where it says carbohydrates of which sugars. And you remember my Easter eggs, which were like 60% sugar? Extraordinary. That was in the commercial, you know, kind of cheap chocolate. And it wasn't very nice, actually. This one has zero sugar. Everything's flying about it. We've got a gust of wind, because I've had the windows open. So let's just give you a quick little view of that one. Oh my word, that smells like kind of, yeah, well it says here it smells of dates and rich cocoa. Absolutely, it almost smells like dark velvet. And just have a little, oh, that is something else. I defy you to be able to eat a whole bar of this. You just need a tiny taste, which again is really good because you get your kind of chocolate fix, if you like, if you're a real chocolate fan like me, but without having to scoff down a whole bar. Anyway, that's enough about that. That is Firetree. You can fire them at firetreechocolate.com, find them. The tasting that they're doing is Wednesday the 20th of May at 8 p.m. UK time. And it's 30 minutes, it says, of pure tasting pleasure. So all you have to do is go to their website, which is firetreechocolate.com. If you want to do that, then you can get 10% off by entering the code Liz Loves. All in capitals, Liz Loves. Really easy. Same with my dress, Liz Loves, all in capitals. If you don't want to do the tasting, you can still get 10% off all their chocolate. So if you're really intrigued, by the way, and just think, I'd quite like to try that 100%, no sugar, just quite like to try it and see, then you can use the Liz Loves code on that as well. So I hope you love it. Just time for me to say, watch out in the post, all those of you who subscribe to my magazine. I gave you a sneaky peek yesterday. This is actually, I haven't yet got a copy of the proper thing to show you right here, but this is the cover. This is hot off the press. The ink was literally almost wet yesterday. Beth is asking if they post internationally. I think they do. Can you buy it in the shops? I think you can, but I'm not sure. So go and have a look at their website. So this is the cover. So if you are a subscriber to Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, this is going to start landing next week. So obviously there may be a few delays with the post, so be patient, but it is on its way. If you would like to subscribe and don't yet already subscribe, you can find 30% off, 30% off new subscriptions. It was meant to be finished, that offer, but we're keeping it going just for a limited time. I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep it going for, but we will keep it going for a bit because I know it's hard to get out to the shops and hard to find it. So you can have it delivered in the UK with free P&P. If you're international, you can download the edition. It's not yet ready to be downloaded digitally, but it will be. And also, those of you, I can see another couple of questions coming in. The jewellery, that's lizearlejewellery.com. I was talking about that and all about fair trade gold yesterday. Apologies for some of you on Instagram who are not seeing my Instagram TVs in real time. I don't know what Instagram are playing at, but they seem to be withholding certain bits of content. Maybe they're just getting so busy because everybody is doing this kind of thing. It's worth turning on your notifications when you follow me if you're on Instagram. I think that gives you a better chance of actually seeing what I'm doing. So I think you just go to settings and then it has notifications and you can choose who you want to be notified when they're doing stuff. But I am putting it on Instagram TV, so hopefully it will eventually appear there. I know many of you had issues seeing the one that I did with Dr. Louise Newson, all about migraine and hormones. So hopefully that will appear. If it doesn't, you can go to Facebook. So Facebook, God bless you, you are keeping my videos up. And I'm also thinking about maybe popping them onto YouTube as well, just so that we're covered. Because you never know with these internet people, do you, when they suddenly decide to change their algorithms or whatever and make stuff invisible. So if you don't yet subscribe to Liz Earle Wellbeing on YouTube, it's worth perhaps doing that for the future and for now, because I've got a lot of exercise videos that I've just been posting up there as well with the wonderful Michael Gary. So that's it for today. Thank you for being with me. I hope you enjoy, she says, reaching over here without revealing the back of her hair, that hasn't been done. I hope you enjoy my almond and chocolate flourless cake slices. If you make them, do please tag me because I'd love to share and repost on my stories. But I'm taking a day off tomorrow, Sunday. That's my family day, and I'm back with you on Monday, bright and breezy, for yet another Instagram TV Live and Facebook Live. So keep your comments and questions coming. I will cover as many as I can then. Lots of love to you all. Please take care. Go well. Stay safe. Bye-bye.